Well, hello, friends. Welcome to the SerenityOS update for February 2024. It's been another comfy month in the project. We've had just over 800 commits from about 50 individual authors, and the browser stack is by far the most active area as usual. And we already covered that yesterday in the Ladybird update. But we do still see a bunch of development happening in random places throughout all of SerenityOS. So today, myself, Andrew, and Nico are going to show you some of the stuff that's been going on in February. And I think we'll start with this new thing in Taskbar where applications that require superuser access, so root access basically, such as partition editor, it now asks for a password here. Previously, it would just fail. So if you were to try to run it from the command line as a normal user, it will complain to say that, oh, I have to be root because I need to open ROBLOCK devices. But launching it from the taskbar, it now automatically tries to escalate to superuser. So if I type in my password here, which is foo, it will fail to actually find a partition table because I'm booting diskless using this, or not diskless, but I'm booting without a partition table using QEMU feature. So it still fails to bring our partition editor. But even so, this is very, very nice because when you're launching apps from Taskbar, I'm not sure if we have anything else that requires root. But when you're launching apps in this way, you don't want to just fail. If it requires root access, you want to be prompted for a password. And this should also work in Assistant. So if I were to run partition editor from here, yeah, it also asks for a password. Let me type it wrong password. Yeah, that also works. Maybe I should be allowed to try again if I type the wrong password. That seems like it could be a little bit of a good feature. Anyway, then, the automatic escalation to superuser here in GUI was implemented by Hugh. So thank you, Hugh, for working on this. I think it's a really, really nice quality of life thing. A totally different thing that is also new this month, and a bunch of people have contributed to, I think, somebody named Refrag and also Yella has been helping out. But we have a port of this, I guess, Sonic fan game called Sonic Robo Blast 2. And let's see if it actually launches. Yes, it seems to. So this has driven a bunch of improvements to our SDL port as well this month. And it's some kind of Sonic game. I'm not a big Sonic gamer myself, but I can certainly appreciate that that this exists. And I don't know how to play other than running around, and I assume I'm supposed to take these rings. It also has mouse controls, but I don't understand how they're supposed to work. I'm probably meant to run without the magical VM mouse driver. Anyways, if you enjoy playing Sonic Robo Blast 2, you can now do so on SerenityOS, thanks to Refrag. So thank you, Refrag, for porting this game. And I'm just going to get out of here. And apparently it crashes on exit, but it has a cool app icon. That's pretty nice. Okay, well, might be something to look into with our SDL port there. Anyways, then we have some command line utility improvements this month. So I know the CP utility received a new flag. So Eric implemented the interactive mode for CP, which is when you have a file and you're trying to copy it, and the copy would overwrite another file, it will now ask if you want to overwrite it. So you can say like, nah, I don't want to. Or you can say, yaha, I do want to. So that was added by Eric. Thank you, Eric. It's really nice that our various utilities sort of keep getting more and more command line flags added to them. And then what did I do here? I brought up the help. accidentally. It's supposed to open the man page for CP, but I guess we don't have one. We do. Wait a minute. So why doesn't it take me there? What is this? This doesn't work right at all. Okay. So I think the ID, no, this needs to be fixed, but we're not going to do that right now. And then Kyle did something called cut-c, which I'm not familiar with, but that's like select only these characters with cut. Does cut have a man page? Oh, of course it does. It's really cool that we have more and more man pages for everything. And of course, you can browse them in this beautiful app, which it's kind of strange that this isn't how you browse man pages on other Unixes, because, like, why isn't it? Okay, so cut, but I don't see any examples for -c, so I guess we have to figure out. And -c is missing in the options list too. Okay, well, we are finding all kinds of issues here, so I guess we have to guess what cut-c does. So it's supposed to select only these characters. So I will make a list of characters, I guess. So foo, and then we will cut only the O. What does that do? Invalid byte / character position O. Okay. Oh, is it like I only want that one character? So wait, so I'm removing a specific character. Is that it? So if I echo test, and I will cut out character 2. Okay, and how's that different from -b? Bytes versus characters. Okay, well, I'm not exactly sure what the difference is, but if you know, please leave a comment explaining what the difference is. All right, and then the final command line utility that was added this month is xxd, which is a hex dump utility. So we can now hex dump our password file, and it looks like this. And we actually had hex dump before, which has just like a slightly different output format. And I'm not sure why, but like most Unixes have both XSD and hex dump. I've been on machines in the past that had only one or the other, so I'm like familiar with both, but I don't know what the backstory is. Like, I'm sure there's history there, but XXD was added this month by Nils, so thank you, Nils, for adding XXD. Now the hex dumping story on SerenityOS is getting pretty good. All right, let's visit somebody else.
Well, hello friends. I'm gonna talk about a couple sorted changes to Serenity this month. First of all, we've got the calendar. So the past couple months, we've been improving the calendar bit by bit. It's still quite basic, but this month Nico made some changes to the way that the month view and year view work internally. So this is a little bit cleaner, and now it's handled via a GML property. So thanks for that, Nico. And also in the realm of events, Sano made it so that after I enter an event here, something happens at this day at 3 p.m. for 5 minutes. So before we would just see that, oh, there's an event on this day. We don't even see it in the year view, but now if I double click here, we can see that there are some events here. Now this is definitely a first step, but we didn't have this before, and I can even add a new event when something else happens. Maybe this thing starts at 8 p.m. and goes for 3 hours. And now after we see that, we can see that that event also shows up here, though it doesn't doesn't show the end time, and it doesn't show the duration, and it doesn't let me edit the event. So there's still quite a lot we can do to make the calendar more of a fully fledged calendar application. But it's been coming along nicely these last couple months, so thanks for everyone who's been working on that. Alrighty, don't need to save that. So implicit field added something interesting this month, which is a FATFS creation utility. So if I create an empty file here that is 128 megabytes and call it fat32.img, and this takes a little bit longer than it probably should to write out these 128 megabytes to our ext2 file system. But after that, I can call this makefs.fat utility, which doesn't quite have that many options, but it does let us choose between FAT12, FAT16, and FAT32, which have all had implementations in our kernel recently. Right, so if I makefs.fat, type 32 on fat32.img, this will create a FAT32. It'll format that empty file it created as FAT32. Now, unfortunately, we can't actually mount that file because we don't have loop device support that I saw in the PRQ. That's something that Liav is working on. So hopefully we can get that in soon and start mounting files all over the place. But yeah, you just have to trust me that this is FAT32 for a second here. So that brings us to our next demo here, which is in hex editor. And let's open this fat32.img file. Yes. So we can see that this fat32.img file does have the fat header at the top. It says it's fat32. It's got some text there, and I believe this also has some x86 code in here to act as a master boot record. So very cool, and of course the rest of the file system is completely empty. But what I wanted to show in hex editor today is that Sam and a little bit on the side of Tim Ledbetter have been improving this GUI a lot. So what Sam added was the fact that we've always had, we've had for a while these extra toolbars, or these extra tools, the search results, the value inspector, and Sam added these annotations. I believe Andres added that recently. Sure, and now this byte is highlighted. But what was new this month is that now all of these toolbars are using the dynamic widget container that Torsten added last year. I believe it was in the fall. So not only can we, I'm not sure if this was in before, but we can collapse these tool windows inside this this widget here on the right side, but we can also pop them out. So if I wanted to pop out the value inspector here, it would pop out, and I can move it around the screen and whatever else. And as I edit things here, I can go back to my value inspector and see that it is, I believe it's looking at this. Maybe it's not. But, I mean, of course I can full screen this. It doesn't really do much, but if I close the X here, maybe this should be a different button, it will pop back in, which is pretty nice. So this is a really cool toolbar feature that, like I mentioned, Torsten added last year. I'm not sure how many applications are using it. I imagine this could be useful for Hack Studio or other applications we have that have interesting toolbar windows, and can also drag these around and move which one is on top, which is pretty awesome. So nice work, Sam and Torsten, and a little bit on Tim's part for helping us improve the hex editor to make it snappy. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about today is that we've been having a lot of improvement on the RISC-V front. So this is something that Sonke and Leon and Film have been working on, though I think Film is a little bit busy with school lately, but Sonke and Leon have been chatting it up in the RISC-V channel lately. They've been adding all sorts of features to help Sonke boot their, I believe it's a Sci-Fi Vision 2 single board computer they have on their desk. I believe there's still some local patches that need to go in before we can actually demo that either in QEMU or before they can send us a video of them booting Serenity on that single board computer. But those fixes have been going in. Been a little bit less activity on the ARM64 front, as the contributors who are interested in that have been working on other things, but it's good to see the RISC-V support go in, and I know that Leon has been working a lot on the device tree support, which should help both RISC-V and ARM64 going forward for whatever boards we want to support for that. So nice work on the kernel front from them. All right.
Well, hello friends, I'm Nico. Andreas asked me to demo a few improvements in PDF tech in Serenity this month, so let's take a look. On my screen I have two versions of Serenity's PDF engine, the old and busted version on the left, and the new and unbusted version on the right. And this is running the Largo Mac PDF version, Mac PDF app, which is basically all of Serenity's PDF code, like Serenity's text rendering, Serenity's image decoders, Serenity's everything. It's just like a very small, thin Cocoa window that shows the bitmap that Serenity's code renders. If you use PDF Viewer in Serenity, everything should look the same and behave the same, except the UI is much nicer over there, of course. Okay, so here's the first example PDF. Like one big there's like basically three improvements. One is better colors. The second is better, like more text. And the third is like a new image format, which we'll all look at. So for these two for this one example PDF, as you can tell, we now render all the text that's on the page, while we don't on the left side. And there's like a bunch of pages in here. And on the left hand side, you can tell like we get quite a bit right already. We have like nice colors for the most part, and lots of images. On the right hand side, we now do text. And if you like look closely, you'll also see that the shade of green at the top is a little less shrill on the right. And the reason for that is that we now, for images that use the device CMYK color space, we now simulate how this ink would look if you printed that on paper. So here's like an example. This is a photograph of my screen. So we can like enhance a little bit and zoom in on the screen text here and enhance a little more. And as you can tell, a pixel consists of three little lights, one red, one green, one blue, and a bitmap basically controls for every pixel how bright these three lights are. So I think this is like pretty well known. If you do the same for like a book, here's a photograph of a book that I'm currently reading over and over again. We can enhance that a little too, like zoom in a lot more, and you can tell like you can see the white of the page in the background, and there's four colors that get printed. There's cyan over here, then magenta over here and over here, yellow over here, and black over here, which is abbreviated CMYK. And you can, this printing technology, I think, is called offset printing or something like that. I don't know a ton about it, but you can tell that the like yellow dots are kind of like an rectangular grid, and the magenta dots are also on a rectangular grid that's rotated 45 degrees relative to the yellow grid, and then the cyan grid is rotated 22.5 degrees relative to the yellow grid, probably just eyeballing, and black is rotated 22.5 degrees in the other direction. And so if you have a CMYK bitmap, this is like meant to be printed, and if you print this on paper, then normally, then you don't end up like with these shrill colors you get when you just do like the math conversion, where you invert all the CMY channels and then multiply them by the inverted K channel. So now we get like something that looks looks much closer to what you get if you like actually printed this page. And this is also what all the other PDF viewers do. So yeah, better text and better colors. Here's another example of a file that looked like mostly okay previously, but now we get like the ellipses and the quotes right. And yeah, like most other pages were fine before already. I guess we now also get these bullets right. Here's another example of a PDF that's, I think, teaches people who speak Vietnamese how to speak Japanese, but I don't know Vietnamese, so maybe that language is wrong. And you can also tell that we now show like both the Japanese and the Vietnamese text. Well, we didn't do that previously. And you can also like slightly see the CMYK improvement over here. And this little thing that we already got right before is like yet another font type, but that support for that isn't new. And then here's the third new thing. We now have support for the CCIT image format, or at least for like some forms of it. This was implemented by Lucas, so thank you, Lucas. So now, like on the next page, I think the background of this text is also CCIT. And here's like a last demo PDF, which on the same page. So on the left, that's again we get like way more glyphs, and on some pages that's very dramatic. You can also tell we don't rotate the text quite right yet. We like know the direction, but we don't rotate the glyphs. Yeah, and that's basically all I had. So we'll see what happens next month.
And that's all the stuff we wanted to show you today. So thank you so much for stopping by and checking out what we've been working on. Thank you so much to my co-hosts, Andrew and Nico. Really, really nice to have you on here. And if you want to come chat, you'll find us in the SerenityOS Discord server. There's a link to that in the video description. We're always open for new developers, and it's really cool. We recently passed 1,000 contributors on GitHub, and I think that's awesome. Over 1,000 people have worked on SerenityOS at this point, and can't believe how far we've come. And somehow, in a way, it still feels like it is just the beginning. So, very interesting times. Anyways, thanks for checking this out today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.